Okay, in this example, we're going to practice a few different techniques as well as build an armature for this guy. So here is your start file. We are going to just add in an armature at the world origin, Shift A, add armature, and then I will make it visible. So let's go in front, make it wire. Over in the data tab, I'll just turn on the axes and the names for this. And I'm also going to turn on the wireframe for my geometry. So you can see this is the tube that we're going to practice painting. So I'm going to turn this bone into 3. So just grab the tail, constrain it on the Z axis, and then snap with control to one of the verts on the end. Now you see it's still in the middle. That's what my bone looks like. And then I can subdivide it by hitting W and then bringing that up. Oh, I need to select my bone first, subdivide, and I want to give 2 cuts here. You notice that I've been very kind to you and I've already aligned this mesh so that it will snap perfectly to those spots. Okay, before we connect it, let's give everything a name. So bone_1, bone_2, and bone_3. Now in a real world scenario, we will be weight painting the deformation version of these bones. For this demonstration, we're just going to paint the bones themselves with no prefix. Let's connect this. So first we select the mesh, then the armature, we hit Control P, and if we choose automatic weights, it's going to do a terrible job. So let's just test that. You notice it is horrible. So I'm actually just going to delete that. So it is still connected. We still have our, whoops, that's from the test recording that I did. This is the armature modifier that we added in that step. And I have removed all my vertex groups, but I'm going to weight paint them in with my add brush. It's at 100%. And my fall off is projected, so it's going to go all the way through. That's probably going to be a great starting point for here. And I want to get somewhere like that. Actually, I'll lower my strength down a little bit now. Select my middle bone and just paint these middle sections. And then the top bone. Oh, do I have auto normalize turned on? I have auto normalize turned on so that when I paint here, it's going to subtract it from the previous group. All right, so now I'm going to bend and see how poorly I did. Oh, it didn't go so bad. Now I actually want you to come in here and practice with all the different weight painting tools. I'm going to jump into edit mode and show you how to tweak entire loops at once. Now, if I want to see the deformed options, I can click these 2 buttons here and then we can see where those are. I'm going to select a loop here and I'm going to manually fix this one. So I want it to be a little bit less here, and let's normalize that and copy all of those weights to that whole entire loop. I'll just adjust that one more time. I can get it a little bit closer than that. And then I'll move on to the next loop. This loop here, I know is going to be in the dead middle of that joint. So I'm going to make it 50-50 and then do the same thing. And then I can adjust the loops either side of that to make it look a little bit better. All right, I'll just finish that section. It's looking okay, but it is losing a lot of volume here. So I'm going to check what it looks like with the preserve volume turned on and off and on. I think it looks much better with it turned on. So I'm going to leave it turned on, but now I'll have to tweak my work that I've done so far, especially this loop here. I'll bring that down to almost 0. Then once that's looking better, I can fine tune any of the loops exactly to my liking before I move on to the next joint. And this is what I ended up with after all of those tweaks. And this is what I want you to practice as well. Use your brushes, see how close you can get it, check what it looks like with the preserve volume turned on and off, and then practice tweaking those entire loops at once in edit mode. Now, it is rare that you get to tweak an entire loop on a real model, but it does happen. It's more likely though that you'll just tweak a few individual vertices to weight them exactly how you need. I hope you find this demo useful, but now it's time for you to get practicing. I'm really looking forward to seeing how you do on this one.